Some people travel to check places off a list, but the best way to understand a city is simply to walk for a while. This is Tallinn. There are a few things that shape how you experience a city, like walkability, how it feels to move through the streets, street life, the rhythm of everyday life, and places to pause where the city lets you breathe for a while. Those things together, that's the Travel Without Chaos Index. 3 dimensions, each one scored out of 5. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how Tallinn scores. Tallinn is compact enough to feel immediately familiar. The old city Vanalin spreads out at the foot of Toompea, the upper town rising above it. And as you start walking, you recognize different parts of the city, not by name, but by how they feel. Toompea, the upper town, quiet, institutional, government buildings, a castle, a cathedral, and views over the city that tells you exactly where you are. Vanalin, the old town below, medieval streets, steep in places, with a density that changes how you move. Kalamaja, the old working class neighborhood to the northwest, wooden houses and a different color palette. Start with these 3, and Tallinn is easy to get to know. Tallinn is a very walkable city. The old town is dense enough to cover on foot in an hour, but it's layered enough to keep you walking for much longer. The cobblestones shift as you move between different parts of the city. In the older streets they slow you down, pulling you into the pace of the place. In the new areas around them, the ground changes, and so does the feeling. The street logic is clear. There are main axes wide enough to move through and strong enough to orient you. But the side streets are where the city becomes interesting. The relationship between upper and lower town is part of the walkability story for Tallinn. The climb to Toompea is the city's hinge, where the old town's density opens up into something quieter. Fewer cars, fewer tourists. And coming back down, you notice the city differently. In Kalamaja, the streets are shared between walkers, cyclists and cars, not separated but coexisting. The wooden houses are set close together, and the street creates a warm and inviting feeling. There are other sides of the city too, further out, wide boulevards with more of a big city feel, where the scale shifts and the whole experience changes. Here are a few places worth knowing for walking. Virra Gate into Town Hall Square is the natural starting point. The gate itself is one of those transitions the city gives you for free. Surface, scale, sound, everything shifts in a single step. And from Balti Jump Station, follow the main street into Kalamaja, wooden houses, shared streets, a neighborhood that moves at its own pace. Or take a walk to Keskturg along the Tartu Mantee from Balti Jam. It's a different layer of the city. The street life in Tallinn is concentrated, not spread across the whole city, but present where it happens. The old town is busy, but the life there belongs mostly to the visitors, cafes and souvenir shops arranged for people passing through, maybe not for people who live there. Step outside it and the city is quieter. People move with a purpose. There aren't that many places where you get a sense that someone has come out just to be part of the street, to sit, to watch, to be somewhere without a specific reason. But there are exceptions. The covered market near the station is one of Tallinn's real living rooms, a mix of people who are there to be somewhere, not just passing through. Fruit stalls, food, locals and visitors in a proportion that feels more natural than most of the old town. Further out, there's an older market that carries the feel of another era. The buildings, the stalls, the whole atmosphere untouched by tourist redesign. Less curated, more city. And if you're anything like me, you find yourself drawn to the places where people gather naturally. Not the busy tourist squares, but the spots where the city's own rhythm is easiest to feel. Here are a few places worth knowing for street life. Baltijam Market is where the concentration is highest. Covered market, food stalls, a hall that draws people in rather than pushing them through. Keskturg is the older version, a market with a different feel entirely, closer to what this part of the world looked like before the renovation wave arrived. And the old town square, with cafes on all sides and a kind of movement that makes it easy to pause. Tallinn is generous with its places to pause. The viewpoints on Topia are maybe the most obvious one. You stand there and the whole of Vanallin lays out below you. There's a garden up there too, quieter than the viewpoints. Benches, shade, a place where sitting feels entirely natural. Down in the city there are neighborhood parks, less dramatic than Topia but more livable. The kind of places where people actually go. And if you're looking to come indoors, the covered market near the station is a natural place to land. The kind of pause that belongs to the everyday city. And the parks you pass along the way are worth pausing in too. Tallinn gives you plenty of places to pause. Here are a few places worth knowing for places to pause. Tomb Park, a small park near the old town with water and a calm that sits just outside the main tourist flow. Lembito Park, a little further, quieter still, an easy place to settle. And Baltijam Market, indoors, for when the weather makes the decision for you. So what's the score for Tallinn on the Travel Without Chaos Index? On walkability, it's high. Tallinn is really easy to move through, compact, layered and clear enough to orient yourself quickly. The cobblestones slow you down in the best way. There's one limit though, the main streets do get crowded, but step off it and it eases immediately. For street life, concentrated rather than spread. In places like Baltijan Market, Keskturg and Kalamaja, you feel the city's own rhythm. But for the most part, people in Tallinn move through the street rather than in it. The sense of someone coming out just to be part of the city is quieter here than in many places. On places to pause, generous, from the Tompea viewpoints to parks like Toon Park, Lembetu and the Governance Garden. And there are also smaller parks worth giving a chance as you walk through. Tallinn is a city that rewards the walker who leaves the main streets behind. It's small enough to understand and layered enough to keep you looking. It's a very charming city. Have you been or do you live here? I'd love to know.